Hello, I'm Brian Quinn with the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services. Our mission here is to protect the health and well-being of everyone in Missouri, including you. One of the ways we do that is by sharing important health-related information so people can take an active role in protecting their own health. That's why we're here today, to talk about a very important public health issue that will affect nearly all of us, pandemic influenza, also known as pandemic flu. You've probably heard about pandemic flu, but you may still have some questions. What is it? Is it really a big deal? How will it affect my family and me? Over the next few minutes, we're going to answer some of those key questions and give you a better understanding of pandemic flu and what it could mean to all of us. The goal of this presentation is to help you learn more about influenza, plan how to respond to the next major flu pandemic, and find the best ways to protect yourself against this serious public health threat.
Because it now is easier for people to travel around the world, diseases like the flu can be quickly carried country to country, affecting different communities in different ways. During the 20th century, there were 3 serious influenza pandemics killing millions of people. 1918, the Spanish flu killed tens of millions of people around the world, including at least 500,000 people in the United States. 1957, the Asian flu killed about 2 million people worldwide, including 70,000 people in the United States. 1968, the Hong Kong flu killed up to 1 million people, including approximately 34,000 people in the United States.
I'm joined now by Eddie Hedrick, Emerging Infections Coordinator for the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services and a pandemic flu expert. Let's just start with the basics. What exactly is pandemic flu?
Well, pandemic influenza is different from seasonal flu, and it's generally much worse. A pandemic, by definition, is a worldwide epidemic, which is caused by a brand new strain of influenza virus. One of the characteristics of influenza is their ability to mutate. And every year, as you know, they change slightly, and that's why we have new vaccines each year for influenza.
So explain the difference for us between seasonal flu and pandemic flu.
Okay, well, seasonal flu is the normal. It's what we see every year. We have about 5 to 20% of the population get infected every year and have characteristic signs and symptoms. Although it's a serious disease, because we see at least 36,000 people a year dying from it and another 200,000 are hospitalized, it's not as severe as a pandemic strain would be because people have some pre-existing immunity to it. Unlike seasonal flu, pandemics have a tendency to occur at almost any time of the year and can occur in waves. They sort of come in a roller coaster fashion, and these waves last up to 8 weeks in duration. They also have a tendency to not only affect the very young and the very old, like seasonal flu, but they have a tendency also to affect the young and healthy. Those between the ages of 18 and 44 have very high mortality rates, much like the very young and very old, which is unusual compared to seasonal flu. And because a pandemic is caused by a brand new virus, it would take time to make a vaccine. Usually we see what goes around last year, and in February we begin manufacturing a vaccine to be distributed in October. With the pandemic, we couldn't start manufacturing that vaccine until we saw the pandemic hit, so it's unlikely that it would be available in the beginning of a pandemic. And in the past, pandemics have resulted in causing illness in over 1/3 of the population. This means over 1/3 of the workforce and those necessary to take care of them would be home at any one given point in time. This would cause critical services such as public transportation, communications, schools, banks, stores, police, fire, emergency, medical care, utilities, health care. It would cause most of those things to almost come to a halt. Healthcare systems would really be completely overrun and may be unable to care for all of those that would need medical attention.
Coming up next, we'll take a closer look at what goes into putting together a family plan.
Hi, I'm Laura Clethermus with the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services. Planning and preparing for emergencies of all kinds should be a top priority for every Missouri family. Emergencies can strike at any time. It's important to have plans in place for how you and your family will respond. Here are a few things to consider as you put your family's plan together. Find out how your child's school or daycare has planned for a flu pandemic. Make sure the school or daycare has the most current contact information for you. So often we change jobs and our phone number changes. Be sure that you have communicated that information to your child's school. Talk with the school administrator or child care provider about the importance of good hygiene practices. Employers across Missouri are working on plans to make sure their businesses continue in the event of a flu pandemic. Talk with your employer and understand their expectations. If you are a person with special needs, make sure to label your medical equipment. If you have a medical condition or allergies to medications, wear medical alert tags so that emergency responders will know how to treat your condition. Every family should have a plan for emergencies, but it's equally important to prepare supplies for that next emergency. For a flu pandemic, we recommend that you prepare at least a 2-week supply. In my family's pandemic flu kit, we've gathered a thermometer, non-aspirin pain reliever, prescription medication, a first aid kit, extra bath and hand soap, household cleaning supplies, copies of doctors and medical insurance information, water, and that includes at least 1 gallon of water per person per day, canned or dried food, comfort foods such as candy bars and chips, a manual can opener for canned goods, a battery-powered radio, extra batteries, a flashlight, and books and games to help pass time.
While state and local governments and many other organizations are working hard to prepare for pandemic flu, you must also be responsible for your own safety. There are simple steps that you and your family can take to help protect yourselves against the spread of flu, whether seasonal or pandemic. Everyone coughs and sneezes when they are ill, but there are right ways and wrong ways. The wrong ways help spread disease. Let's talk about the safe way of coughing and sneezing first. Think of barriers like tissues or paper towels. Cover your nose and mouth before you cough or sneeze. Throw away tissues and wash your hands as soon as possible. If there are no tissues, use the crook of your elbow. Washing hands correctly is another key way to prevent getting or spreading germs. But again, there is a wrong way and a right way, and it's more than just wetting your hands and wiping them off. Good hand washing is key because our hands are really what pick up and spread germs around. Here is the right way to wash your hands to help prevent spreading germs. Wet your hands with warm water. Lather up both hands with soap. Scrub your hands for at least 20 seconds. Wash your wrists, your palms, the backs of your hands, your fingers, and under your fingernails. Rinse your hands thoroughly. Dry your hands with a paper towel and use it to turn off the water. The State Health Department will post up-to-date information on our website and work closely with the news media to send important information to the public. In case of an outbreak, a hotline will also be opened to answer questions about the outbreak.
When planning, remember the 3 basic steps: learn, plan, and protect. Learn all you can about pandemic flu. Create a response plan and gather the emergency supplies you'll need for a long stay at home. Remember, if you become ill, staying home is one of the best ways you can help slow the spread of pandemic flu. Protect yourself and others from the flu and other illnesses with effective sneeze and cough protection and proper hand washing. Finally, Listen for important information coming from public health and other authorities.